I give you like a really condensed version. So I'm going to be giving you guys small, digestible bits of Robert's rules each week during open forum. Observe how you utilize them throughout the meeting, and then give you all feedback during my advisor's report. So the thing we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So I really want to emphasize.
All right, please. Please make sure you're on mute when you're joining the Zoom, because I think that's our problem right now. All right. I think you're good. You're good.
So I really want to touch on before we start why we use Robert's rules. Of course, I know you all know
Yeah.
we use them for transparency purposes,
Yeah.
but also Robert's rules is really key to be efficient in our meetings and also for accessibility purposes. So those who are joining us on Zoom and those who are watching us through Eagle Eye can easily follow what's happening during the meeting whenever Robert's rules is used properly. Today I'm just going to touch on obtaining the floor, which you guys already do a pretty good job of, but I just want to touch on some highlights of what Robert's rules tells us how to obtain the floor. So first, you would raise your hand either in person or on Zoom. I know Hayes watches the Zoom pretty closely for those who want to participate and raise their hand. You wait to be addressed, and then you either approach the microphone or you unmute and you state your last name and college. So what that would look like, let's say if Senator Sullivan wanted to approach and make a motion to vote on legislation, she would say, I move to pass this bill as it is written, or I'm sorry, she would raise her hand, Hayes would call on her, and she would state her last name and the college she represents and says, I move to pass this bill as written. Hayes would then reiterate that motion so that people on Zoom or those who cannot hear or those who are joining us on Eagle Eye can clearly hear what's happened, and then he'll ask for a second. Once the second is made, Hayes will then reiterate that, and however, if the motion fails, Hayes will also declare that. So pretty much every single step as you're moving through obtaining the floor and making a motion, which I'll go more in depth on making a motion next week, pretty much every step of the way, regardless if you're reading the minutes or if you're watching through Zoom on Eagle Eye, you can follow what's happening. We also understand, I know Hayes and Katie want to emphasize, we would much rather you guys have a good flow of productive conversation and having a good productive meeting than stressing out about if you're using Robert's rules correctly, and we understand that practice really does make perfect, and it's completely okay to ask for a timeout. So at any point, if you feel like you're lost, or if there's points, honestly, that I've been in where you are debating a motion within a debate like it gets really deep if you get into Robert's rules and you're using it as it should be used. It is perfectly okay to ask for a timeout and say, hey, I have no idea where we are, and can we kind of reiterate what's happening? Can we get back to like a normal flow of procedure? Like I said, next week we're going to go over motions. The week after we're going to go over points of procedure. This is very much a building experience. Any questions you guys have, you are more than welcome to ask myself, Hayes, or Katie. And like I said, you're not going to be experts at it. I'm not an expert at it. I don't think anybody is except for the person who wrote it. So it is perfectly okay if some mistakes were made or if you just are confused about the point. We would much rather you guys just have a good productive meeting than stumbling over what you think or should be saying or should not be saying. But that's all I have for this week, and next week we're going to go over motions. So I'll turn it back over to Hayes. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to utilize open forum? All right. Well, now we'll move into roll call, and Jonathan is taking roll. And so now the minutes were sent out electronically. Were there any corrections that needed to be made? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. So now we'll move into the reports of our officers, starting with our executive officers.
All right, hey y'all, joining y'all remotely this week. Just a few brief updates from me. The first of which is that as of the week of October 11th, the university reported 16 total cases university-wide. So that just is a testament to everybody continuing to follow those protocols, and I won't reiterate them because I feel like they've been drilled into our brains for the last several months, but just continue doing the right things so that we can all continue to stay safe and keep those numbers low. The second thing is that we had a Board of Trustees special called meeting last Friday on the 16th. And one thing that was discussed was our partnership with the USDA and some amended covenants to our partnership with the research park. And so really exciting developments that came to the College of Ag, so really excited about that board decision. And then the last thing is we made some progress on our executive goal today on the foreign language exchange program. We were able to assemble a working group that's going to work on kind of answering those questions that are still lingering with regard to foreign language exchange program to start to develop a plan and a platform for that particular program. So really excited about that working group. We have a lot of people from Cabinet joining us, and anybody in this particular group is interested in learning more about that project, would love to have a conversation with you about how you can get involved with the foreign language exchange program. That is it from me, but I also happen to be with Landon, so Landon will give his report this time.
Hey y'all, sorry, this is not ideal, but anyways, just a couple of things. If you have not completed the apparel form that was sent out last week at Senate, please do that immediately because we will be moving forward tomorrow, contacting the vendor and getting pricing for that based off the sizes and quantities that we already have. So once again, if you have not completed the apparel form, please do that. If you need that, please reach out to me, reach out to Hayes, whoever. It was also in y'all's recap email that was sent out last week. Furthermore, please continue to promote financial literacy. I know Cal didn't speak on that some, but that partnership with Regions is huge. We're the first university to partner with Regions for such an awesome thing. We're all promoting it, like be educated on it. We have a talk from Eric Smith, who is known as the financial literacy coach. This Wednesday, I just sent a flyer in the committee chair group meeting. So committee chairs, if you could relay that to your committees, that would be great. And then lastly, on behalf of Catherine Facto, this Friday, Miss Homecoming nominations will be closed, so if you're a part of a registered student organization or a residence hall, you're more than willing to nominate a senior woman to run an interview for Miss Homecoming. So make sure you do that. Also, candidate registration forms are open for all minor and major candidate positions, SGA President, Vice President, Treasurer, Senate, as you all know, and Schools Council President and Vice President. So if you're interested in running for any of those, make sure you have that completed by December 2nd.
Thank y'all, that's it from us.
Hey y'all, as Landon spoke to a little bit, financial literacy was launched last week, and we really want to push this out as much as possible. And with that, I encourage each of you to just take 5 to 10 minutes to go on Auburn University and explore the financial literacy wellness page, because as it is your responsibility as senators representing your constituents, being able to answer any questions anyone has and be a little bit educated on what all resources are available there. And in addition to that, please make sure to share that flyer and share with your friends that we are having a seminar from Eric Smith. And I think that will be a wonderful kicking off point for this program, and I hope that it will launch us in the next couple weeks to continue to share that with other students on campus. And with that, there's been a change in date for ring ceremony. So it was going to be November 18th, now it's going to be November 17th on the Wednesday before we leave for Thanksgiving break. So if any of your constituents have questions, please direct them to Auburn Answers, and we can get that figured out for them. Thank you.
Hey y'all, so I have kind of a lot, but first off, huge thank you to everyone for helping out with Heyday. If you helped in any way, I really genuinely appreciate it. I'm very proud of that team for leading and really bringing the Auburn family together this year. We passed out 11,353 name tags, which we are very proud of, and we feel like we've really brought people together that day. So yes, very happy day last Wednesday. For mentorship, so you will have 5 new freshman forum mentees joining Senate, and so we're really excited about that. Please obviously treat them as members of Senate and really involve them in discussions because they represent a very unique viewpoint from the freshman class. Research request forms, kind of covered this last week and Molly gave a demo. Just a reminder, all research requests should go through this form, and we need it 3 weeks before you would like to have the research in hand or have the poll launched. When you are sharing links to Auburn Answers polls, do not send the link from Auburn Answers once you're logged in, because a lot of people are getting error messages from that. Just send the Auburn Answers link, aub.ie/Auburn Answers, and then direct them to direct them to the poll and how to get there, and it's at the bottom of the page. Voting guide and information will be coming soon. So today was the last day to register to vote in the state of Alabama. So now it's time to get to the polls and make your plan to vote. And so I encourage all of you to do that and encourage your constituents to do that. SGA will be sharing some things on social media next week. AU10, if you all have any issues with AU10 or have had any trouble with those stores, please let me know, and we can work with the chamber to make sure that all the stores and the students are on the same page, and so that we can really have that program be all it can be. But that's all for me. Thank you, guys.
I was just gonna jump in really quick again. I said the wrong date. Ring ceremony is now November 18th. It was November 19th. So if anyone asked, November 18th. Thank you guys.
Hey y'all, I don't have a whole lot, but it is Hunger Awareness Week, so super excited about that. If y'all will please share any graphics that SGA posts, and please participate in the event. We had a free rice event today, a competition, and tomorrow is a seat at the table, and it's a documentary, and then a panelist as well. So that's going to kick off tomorrow evening. And then Ada Ruth and a member from UPC will be doing a cooking class on Wednesday. So that's just 2 events that are going on. So lots of awesome events going on. And this is the first ever SGA-led Hunger Awareness Week. So we're really excited about this. This is one of our 8 executive goals. And we have added a director of basic needs this year. So lots of great things going on to fight food insecurity and Hunger Awareness Week. The last one for me is this week is the Donate a Dollar campaign, or this whole month. It started today, October 19th through November 19th. It is going to be really exciting. So this is the second year that we've done the Donate a Dollar campaign in partnership with the Bama Food Drive. So all of the money that is donated goes to the Auburn Cares and then goes to Feed the Family Fund. And so this is to students who are on Auburn campus who don't know where their next meal is going to be. So this gets the meal type to the dining hall. So your money that you donate is going to help impact students here on Auburn's campus. And then for Bama Food Drive, for every $1 that's donated counts as 2 pounds of food. So you're like for 2 birds with 1 stone. So this is going to run at 5 different food stores. You can donate any time of day as long as they're open from October 19th through November 19th. We are recruiting volunteers to stand outside of food stores this week. So I believe Paige has sent all that link from last week, so we just need volunteers from tomorrow until Friday. And make sure you donate $1. Thanks, y'all.
Last thing, if y'all didn't see it in the chat, I don't know how visible everything is, but Senator Callahan will be my co-host for the cooking class on Wednesday. So everybody get really excited for that.
So that is it for our reports of our executive officers. Now we'll move into the reports of our colleges, starting with at large.
Liberty at large. We first wanted to commend Cabinet on a great heyday and say a big thank you to all the volunteers. Second, plans for fall 2020 graduation were finalized for December 12th. And lastly, as I'm sure as most of you saw in the This Week at AU email, Auburn was ranked 20th among U.S. colleges and universities for providing outreach and community service, particularly during COVID-19.
Business. I'm sorry, agriculture. Sorry, Colin. I was going off the top of my head. I wasn't using my cheat sheet.
Rural agriculture. Tomorrow and Wednesday from about 9 o'clock and for a couple hours, right in front of Comer Hall, we're gonna have several of our clubs and organizations, like setting up booths, just giving out information. So if you or anybody knows interested in that, tell them to stop by.
Now business.
Wagner Business. So the B Council's working on a few exciting things this week. The first of which is developing a freshman mentoring program. They've taken a few steps on that. They're kind of getting an official plan in place, and then I'll keep you all updated as that goes. Next up is a meeting next week with the Harvard College of Business media head to work on developing a sort of social media partnership so they can use, the College of Business's up is they're meeting with the associate dean of the business school in a few weeks to work on feedback, which basically just means them updating what they've heard from the students, from our constituents. Then the last thing, Zach touched on this a little bit, but Regions Bank financial literacy coach is coming on October 21st from 6 to 7 virtually, just to speak about, coach you up on financial literacy. That's all we got. Thank you.
Cassie.
Bush, Catsy. So I have 2 main points. In the short term, we're setting up some QPR training, which stands for question, persuade, and refer, which is in the lines of suicide prevention. And this will be for students and faculty. But in the long term, based on kind of a case study that we're doing in CATC with an existing counselor here at Auburn who has CATC industry experience, we'll be discussing the possibility of having industry-trained counselors per college. Thank you.
Co-Sam.
Callahan, Co-Sam. So I know I mentioned last week that we had a meeting with our dean and our assistant dean to discuss the way that our survey played out in terms of COVID and how it's affected the semester. And then this past Saturday, Co-Sam leaders along with the student council had the chance to speak at a meeting with not only alumni but our recruiting staff, dean and assistant dean again as well. And that was Isaiah Pompo, who was there as well, who was our secretary. He was actually able to mention and talk about quite a few things regarding the COVID crisis. In terms of COSAM, we talked about how in-person labs kind of not been able to happen and how those affected our students. That was a really big thing we had mentioned during the survey because the whole purpose is to get hands-on experience, which, as you all can imagine, can't exactly happen through a laptop. Moving forward, we are actually looking forward to this week to another meeting with the dean and assistant dean to discuss continually the survey that we sent out as well as what can happen as far as labs. And then myself and Hayes actually did end up sending an email about the libraries, and I think we are going to potentially be at a meeting this week. So if anybody has anything that they wanted to say from their college about the way that they've been affected, let me or Hayes know.
Education.
Moving education. So there's no new report for this week. We just kind of continue on last week's report. They're still working on the meet the dean, and school council is going to meet the dean and then the teacher fundraiser.
Engineering.
Law, engineering. So 2 main things. Last week, met with our schools council. It was really good to hear from them. Heard some really cool stuff. And the big thing is, last Thursday I had our town hall. It was super successful. Our dean seemed to really enjoy it. We got some great feedback. One of the biggest things we heard was students are really wanting Brown Copel open longer. It's kind of the heart of our college. And right now the hours are kind of cut short because of COVID. So currently talking with the manager of Brown Copel, and we're trying to see how many people are there when they're leaving, so see if the need is actually warranted. But hopefully the hours will be extended soon.
Forestry and wildlife sciences.
Treadwell, Forestry and Wildlife Sciences, no new reports.
Grad school.
Maritime grad school. The 3MT competition at Auburn will be next Tuesday there at the Student Center. I encourage everyone to at least go out and observe, maybe pick up some pointers on your presentation skills. And then the GSC Senate meets next Wednesday night, the 28th. And I encourage you to maybe sit in and take a little perspective on the graduate students' take on priorities versus what we're doing here. That's all we've got. Thanks.
Human sciences. Liberal arts.
Liberal arts. So only big thing that we have is there's a GRE practice test this Saturday. So if you know anyone that's looking to take that, this Saturday they're offering a free test. As far as feedback from students, a lot of them are just balancing, struggling with different classes, especially the ones now that are switching from virtually and in person because it kind of messes up the schedule and the flow that we've already made. And so that's just a little feedback that we got from this week, but that's all.
Nursing.
Nobles, nursing, no report.
Pharmacy.
Taylor Pharmacy. This week we're celebrating National Pharmacy Week, so if you stop by your local pharmacy, just make sure that you tell them thank you for all the work that they're doing to keep you healthy and safe.
And vet med.
Sure, VetMed. I just want to echo Michael's call to prioritize getting students out to the polls here in just like 18 days, something like that. That students, again, are worried about professors not allowing an excuse for going to vote and stuff like that. So we're just really encouraging our constituents to make a voting plan to get in touch with those professors because more often than not, they are being very understanding. So I encourage you to do the same for your constituents.
Now we're going to move into reports of our committees, starting with academic affairs.
Staffel Engineering. First of all, we've got our first draft of that lunch resolution from Brian and Riley coming through our committee this week. So we're really excited to have that come through and advocate for lunch to be more publicized and talked about among students. Second of all, that academic affairs poll that we've been talking about this past couple weeks is hopefully getting launched on Auburn Answers soon, and we're working out the final details with graphics and getting that green light. So be on the lookout for that because I want to make sure that that gets as many responses as we can. And from that, we're going to look at doing things like extending library hours with that data that we get from that, and hopefully be able to reflect student opinion from this semester. We also have our final edits on the diversity and equity inclusion in the classroom poll coming through. So that should be in the final steps of getting worked on, and that baseline survey will be coming out. So I'll also want y'all's help on making sure everybody sees that. And lastly, Reese has been going through all the feedback we've gotten. I'd like to thank everybody again for doing a great job of garnering feedback on that. Reese has been going through and kind of answering all the questions and concerns that were brought up and kind of fine-tuning that. And we're also communicating with Barrett and his team on potentially doing a joint emailer meeting with Dr. Godwin to get some further insight into that. But that's all I got. Thank you.
Budget and finance.
Wagner Business. So for BNF this week, we had 2 COVID transfers that we approved. The first was $200 to Emerge. This is for the line item initiative, subline item assessments, strengths quest. Basically, they use this just so it's like a personality test. They get to take it to see what their strengths are. This is used for people in Emerge for the leadership program and everything. And the other one was $1,626.45 to UBC. This is for the line item films, the subline item strength movie rights. This is just to, an invoice that came through about a movie they showed a few days ago, the rights to that movie. Next up, for carryover requests, we're like live taking those requests right now. We're getting more every day. Those will all be due by October 28th, and at that time, we'll set one-on-one meetings with any SAP he needs to have, needs to carry over money from last fiscal year. And then there's a PDF for service coming through tonight as a future order, so be on the lookout for that. Sage will be bringing that to y'all later tonight. So thank you.
Code of laws.
Sullivan at large. Today we have some council legislation coming through, and I think we're going to be having some come through next week as well. This week I'm also meeting with Jamie to kind of keep working on the code of laws timelines to kind of get the next step on like formatting and how we should organize it. Senator Loftus is working on reaching out to organizations for some educational elections potentially, and usually finding some help for candidates. Senator McElroy is reaching out to the director of the AU bookstore to find more information about the Study Central store that's in the libraries. And then Senator Sullivan, or the other Senator Sullivan, has been going around trying to get some feedback about the length of election. That's all I have.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
So, excuse me. A couple of things, going back to committee update. So I know that we sent out the DEI survey and only about 20 senators filled that in, and so if you get a chance, make sure that you go ahead and complete that. A little bit of the numbers that that we already are taking away from the survey is that out of the 20 senators that took the survey, only 1 was out of state, only 3 live on campus, and 0 are student athletes or student veterans. And so whenever we're focusing on expanding Senate and trying to make sure that we're getting representation, we need to make sure that we're focusing on the students that don't get it. But this also goes in with our committee report. If we know that there are students here that we don't know what an on-campus experience feels like or looks like, then that needs to be where we're orienting our feedback. If we know that we don't know how many, like a lot of student veterans within Senate, then that's when we find a student veteran that is in our major or something like that, and we talk to them and see what feedback they need. We have to go to these places if we don't have all of the adequate access that they have. People can come and do open forum and things like that, but we're the contact to feedback that they need. Kind of going along with that, one of the things that we need to do is make sure that we're kind of expanding our communication, our transparency on our side. And so talk to constituents. One thing that I realize now is talking to constituents that are looking to run for Senate and let them know what the ticket process change means and what that looks like. Because a lot of senators genuinely don't know, and when it comes to the election process, once they submit their declarations of intent, it's going to be late and hard for them to understand what a ticket is and what that looks like. And so I know that a lot of senators are going through the same thing that I'm going through, where I'm a first-year senator, and I didn't have to apply because the rules were different. Like you could just find someone that was on the ticket, and so maybe that looks like some senators getting together and trying to kind of make a game plan. Okay, we're going to make a slideshow of like, this is what the tickets mean, whatever, sending them out, get something on the email that we send out to our colleges, something consistent so we can be on the same page. Also kind of going back to the pass-fail option that we talked about earlier, a lot of feedback from faculty and staff was that midterm grades were average, and so they can't even really justify what the pass-fail option would be. But to be completely honest, some classes allow for more room for academic dishonesty than other courses, and so it's hard to really say whether some classes are truly difficult online or whether it's just easier to cheat, to be quite honest. And so trying to see how we get that feedback, making sure that that feedback is valuable, that we can use, things like that. And kind of like going back to I talked about with the updates, so we can make it to where maybe we want to focus on one subject for next week's update. So this one could be coming up. Are students scared about voting? Are they scared that they're going to have to miss a class or things like that? Are their teachers around for excuses? Or it could be something about, do students understand tickets, what they mean, what they look like, what are the immediate questions that they have, and then we can come back and solve it as a Senate. But if we're going to come up here and use committee, and I made this joke today in my committee, if we're going to come up here and use committee reports to talk about ice cream with the dean, cool, I want to go because we have ice cream too and I love ice cream, but we also need to come up here and talk about feedback that we're going to meet each week, and students are really struggling, if that makes sense. That's all I have.
Thank you for that, Tyler. Student affairs.
Sadie business. So first off, I just have a couple of updates from this last week. So we got a lot of feedback from Andrew just in his little office hour reports and stuff like that, that a lot of people are asking about, why do we still have these $350 minimums on Tiger Dining when we never come on campus. Just wanted to kind of fill that in a little bit and talk with Mr. Glenn a little bit about that a couple weeks ago with Hayes. That's going towards our new dining hall that we're building, so just pass that along if anybody's asking about that. Another one to say, unfortunately with the AU Meat Lab, we're not going to be able to use Tiger Dining for that. Colin, I appreciate you bringing that forward. Just with our contract with Airmark, that doesn't look like it's going to be a possibility for the short term. Some good news on the other hand is talking about village parking. When I spoke with Don Andre and his team, I don't know if y'all saw what I put in the group here or not, but village parking is open to all students for the rest of the semester, so that's a positive for sure. Kind of on the same note though, if you have any friends who've got a ticket or anything like that, I've had a couple people reach out to me. Just let me know and I'm passing those names along so that they can kind of revoke those right now. And then I guess kind of moving forward in our committee, one thing that we're working on right now is the feedback like I talked about earlier with getting a Whataburger, getting a Chipotle, kind of some restaurants like that. So it's looking like the feedback way that we're going to do, and Pierce talked about one thing that might be good is just going to the student center and talking to some people in person, but then at the same time also having some type of Google form or something. So if y'all can
love to see a water burger on campus. I'm biased, but you know, just the way it is. And then last thing is with mental health, kind of the task force going on right now. We're going to try and work on a social media campaign to kind of help with that. So I'll be looking out for that as well.
Senator O'Brien, I think, had some feedback. Yep.
O'Brien Engineering. Okay, for the people who paid to park in the village lot this semester, will they get refunded?
That's a good question. I'll have to ask about that. So do you pay just one semester? You're saying for the entire year?
It's for the entire year. I mean, but I think some
Okay.
people can pay per semester.
Okay, I'll have to reach out to Don Andre and ask him about that because that'd be an interesting thing to look into for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else got any feedback? Awesome.
Lock engineering. So I had a friend reach out to me this weekend and talk to me about, they live on campus. They were talking about how a lot of the on-campus food options close during the weekend. And I haven't done research on this yet, so preface that. But I don't know if it's just Fullerton. I used to be just Fullerton Village, but now this is just Village. So they live on campus in all the parks, so like they're kind of running out of options to eat. It's kind of getting frustrating for them. So I just wanted to pass it on.
Yeah, I guess that's great feedback, of course. We kind of brought that to Mr. Glenn and his team. They said that if we want to be able to, I guess, back up opening some of these restaurants up, the biggest thing is that they have to be profitable. We have to know, like, you know, what time to have them open because a lot of people are asking for them to stay open a couple hours later. But that's really only like, you know, maybe one or two students, like every once in a while it seems like they kind of come in. So we have to have some type of, I guess, consistency or some type of like consistent feedback to be able to prove that, hey, you know, if we keep it open on, you know, Sunday or Saturday, we'll have students coming in. And right now we're struggling to see that. So maybe as things start to pick up, we'll have that open back up. Awesome.
Senate exec.
This week's business. Hey guys, good to see y'all. As for me, of course, office hours will be tonight, 7:30, so I'll be checking those afterwards. Make sure y'all get those in if you have not already. Of course, we are still meeting in person as of now for Senate Exec, which is at 4 o'clock on Thursdays. So if you want to attend, make sure to let me know, because we do have limited capacity. And then, of course, if you have any absences or excuse for absences, send that to me so we can get that voted on. As far as like legislation update, if any of y'all want to work on a combination for the med clinic, let me know. We want to get that rolling as soon as we can. Also, Senators Matthews and Hess are working on a combination for the athletic program, so be on the lookout for that. And then be on the lookout for legislation regarding the honors college seat. So just keep up on that. If anyone has any questions, let me know.
So that concludes reports of our standing committees. Now we'll move into reports of our special committees and liaisons, starting with our freshman committee. So I want each of our freshmen to just come to the mic, just give your, or I mean, y'all can stand up right there if you would like, and just kind of introduce yourself. So I encourage y'all to reach out to them. We're going to let them sit through next week's Senate as well to figure out what committee that they would like to be a part of. So we're going to give them a little bit more time. But I encourage you, even if they're not on your committee, to reach out to them. And whether that's after Senate or another time, just please make them feel just as much a part of Senate as any of y'all are. So I think that's really important. So now we'll move into reports of our liaisons. BSU.
Belser, BSU. My name is Brandon Belser, and I'll be serving as the BSU
It's good to have you. Student veterans and honors college. All right, so now we'll move into our current orders of business. And our first bill is PSSB 2010-19-01, Code of Laws Committee making grammatical and formatting changes. This bill is brought to you by Senator Loftus.
Loftus, liberal arts. So I kind of spoke on this last week, but I asked for the approval of the following. Upon passage of this bill, the Code of Laws Committee will identify a meeting where they will correct formatting and grammar throughout the Code of Laws. These edits may include punctuation, spacing, numbering, titles, capitalization, and gender language. All formatting and grammar changes that the Code of Law Committee makes does not affect any content within the Code of Laws. And I move to pass the bill as written.
A motion has been made.
I know he said on Zoom that if we could share this, they can't see the reflection.
That's on me.
Sorry. Thank you, Senator Ward.
My apologies.
Here's not be good.
Yeah, I'll give people on Zoom 2 seconds to read it.
We're going to give everybody on Zoom a couple more seconds to read it. It is moved and seconded to adopt the bill as read. Is there any debate? Seeing no further debate, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. Aye. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. The ayes have it, and this bill has passed. Next bill on the docket, PSSB 2010-19-02, Email Correspondence Duties of Schools Council. This bill is brought to you by Senator Mathner.
Education. So just as a refresher, this is the part of the code that specifies the exact roles and responsibilities for schools council officers. And this addition kind of came about after getting some feedback from them and meeting with Ariana Hayes as well. As for the approval of the following, to collaboratively construct an email to the dean of their respective school/college within the first 2 weeks of their term in the spring semester and within the first 2 weeks of the fall semester. The email must include the required components set forth by the executive director of schools council, as well as intentions to have a formal meeting to discuss the content of these components. I move to pass this bill as written.
It is moved and seconded to adopt the bill as read. Is there any debate? Seeing no further debate, we'll move into a vote. All in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and click the green check mark. Aye. All opposed, please say no and click the red X. The ayes have it, and this bill has passed. So that concludes our current orders of the night. Now we'll move into future orders, starting with PSSB 2010-2601. This bill is brought to you by Senator O'Brien.
O'Brien Engineering. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this, and then I will clarify after I'm finished. Okay, it says, I ask for the approval of the following the amount of $5,000 to be allocated to service programs as a program extension fund for the sub-line item breakaway trainings and conferences under the leadership training line item. The foundation for this line item will allow for staff members and students representing alternative student breaks to attend the staff development summit and or the annual alternative break extension schools leading the fundamentals of leadership training. So basically this PDF is for these service programs, and what we are asking for is to make a new sub-line item under the leadership training line item, which will be for breakaway training and conferences. So this $5,000 will allow for both staff members and students to be able to go to these leadership training
more leadership training information. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. So please text me, we can get coffee, do whatever. Just let me know. Thanks.
So that concludes our future orders. And so now we'll move into announcements. Just one announcement from me. I know we've all talked about going to get coffee with one another. It seems like a great idea. I would still love to do it if anybody wants to go grab coffee with me. I would love to meet one-on-one with everybody. So that's really it from me, but I did, and forgive me because still a little new to me, but on vacation, I did kind of skip over it during open forum, and so I want to give Caden a chance, our Senator Christian, to give to share his on vacation that he would have shared at the beginning now. So the floor is yours.
Well, how we doing? Great. Okay. Just 1 week, I'm gonna get some enthusiasm out of everybody in that question. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's what we like to see. I'll tell y'all, this weekend, for me, it was a great weekend. I went camping with some people. We went to Max Patch up in North Carolina. If you haven't been, it's beautiful. You can see the mountains. Great time. Great time of rest. Great time to bond and fellowship and all that. And one thing that I realized was I don't rest very often. I think that rest is important. I think that the fact that we're all sitting in this room, the fact that we all have the positions that we do, means that we're working a lot. It means that we're all very busy, have a lot of things to do, and I think that it's important to take that time just to kind of hit pause and rest. I was telling Hayes a while back, and I love analogies. I love a good analogy, okay? Now, one of my favorite analogies is when you go on an airplane, okay, the first thing that they say in the safety briefing is that, hey, if anything were to happen and the oxygen mask is let down, or whatever the oxygen mask does when it comes in front of you, I don't know what it's called. They say that you want to put it on yourself first and then help others. They say that because if you don't have breath yourself, how are you going to help the people around you? And I think that it's important for us to remember that we can work and work and work, and we can try to accomplish great things. We can try to strive after getting so much done, but if we don't take the time to take a step back and rest and refuel and energize, then how are we going to be all that effective when we burn out at the end? You know, life is a marathon, not a sprint. And it looks different for everybody. I'm not trying to persuade or anything like that, but for me, rest and energy comes from my God. It comes from spending time with Him in prayer and reading His Word. For others, rest and energizing comes from exercise. I don't get it, but some people like it. So more power to you. Going for a run, hey, get after it. For introverts, it may be going and just taking some time by yourself, reading a book, or just enjoying the peace and quiet. For extroverts, re-energizing may be going out with some friends and just talking, having a good conversation. It looks different for everybody. But I think it's important to have the discipline of every now and then taking the time to step back away from everything and rest and refuel. I have a little philosophy that I like, and it's one. Once a day, take 15 or 20 minutes just take a step back and have some time to yourself. Think, process, do what you got to do just to kind of stay sane throughout the day. Okay. Once a week, find an activity that you can do that relaxes you, that energizes you. For you people out there that like to exercise and go for a run,
go do that once a week, I guess. I don't know why you want to do it, but if you want to, hey, get after it. I like to fish once a week. I try to take some time just to go and fish. For some of you, that may sound crazy, but I enjoy it. So once a day, find 15, 20 minutes. Once a week, take the time to do an activity you enjoy. Then once a month, take a whole day just to take a break from everything. If it's a Saturday, take a break from school, take a break from Senate, take a break from any other extracurricular thing you got going on. Just unplug. Take that time to rest and re-energize. And then, once a semester, take a weekend and go hang out with some friends and leave the phone and laptop, leave everything at home. Just go hang out, go camping, go to the beach, you can stay in Auburn and just have a weekend committed to just hanging out with people, having a good time, not worrying about that. But I think it's important, especially where we are right now in the semester. We got midterms are kind of behind us, but let's be real, with Zoom University, midterms feel like it's every single week. We got a lot going on. There's been some incredible stuff that's going on. By the way, I'm so proud to be able to say that I'm a part of the Auburn SGA Senate, because I'll tell you, no matter if there's a global pandemic or anything like that, we can still say that we're getting work done. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. I'm a big words of affirmation guy, so the snaps really make me feel good. But because there's been a lot of good stuff going through, because we are in Zoom University, it means that we do need rest. And I think that's important. Now, to piggyback off of what Hay said with the whole coffee thing, a couple of weeks ago, if y'all remember, I mentioned coffee. Last week, as a matter of fact, I mentioned coffee. And I do want you to know that tonight, I went on to Box, and I saw where Disney or somebody posted the roster for SGA. And you know what it has? It has my name and phone number. And you know what? On top of that, it has my email address. So I'm just saying, y'all are without excuse to go get coffee with me. I love apple cider, and it's apple cider season. So that's all I got. Love y'all.
Thank you, Senator Christian. Now I'll turn it over to Pearson.
Hard to follow. Tonight for our advisory 3-pointers, I want to spend time highlighting resumes. So one aspect that I really enjoy getting to do is working with y'all, not just to support y'all with SGA, but also to think about how this is preparing you for your future career. And so while we do hope that each of y'all does an incredible job serving with Senate, really hope that you're gaining the skills that you need to be successful during your time beyond Auburn. And one way to really do that is to be able to translate the skills that you've done onto your resume. And so I want to spend a couple seconds just highlighting 3 quick things to really allow you all to build up your resumes as y'all prepare for internships, grad school, or jobs afterwards. So first, just have a clean and consistent header. So make sure that your name is up top and in bold, easy to see. Have a professional email address, so use your Auburn email, as well as your phone number. If you haven't graduated yet, would definitely make sure you include expected before the date so that they know that you're still in school and all of that. But definitely don't make them have to look around in your resume to figure out where your name is. Just put it at the top with your contact information so they know exactly how to get in touch with you. Next, quantify and explain everything. So one thing is it can be easy to just say, Senator for College of Education attended weekly Senate meetings. And so while yes, that's true, if they're not directly affiliated with SGA, they're not really going to know what that entails and not going to understand all of the great work you've done. So take some time to really build out the examples that you're talking about, so even if they have no familiarity with Auburn SGA, they understand what you're working on. So that could easily be done by explaining what Senate is and explaining
the position that you held within that role and some of the work that you did. It's really going to allow them to understand more in which what your turn looks like. And lastly, don't list your skills, prove them. So a lot of times people will like to list, I'm responsible, hardworking, and have public speaking skills. Well, anyone can write down those things, and so it takes it a step further to actually prove how you've done those things. So if you look back at that last example, by doing that, you show how you were responsible by attending these meetings every week. Gathering feedback on permanent university topics, it shows that you were hardworking to take the time to do that and put it all together. And so instead of just saying that you have all these skills, taking the time to build everything out so that they can truly see that you do have all of these skills that will prepare you for that. So those are 3 quick tips for resumes. If y'all ever want feedback or just an outsider's perspective on it, feel free to email me, and more than happy to send y'all some thoughts and suggestions. But that's all I got, and I'll turn it over to Jamie.
Thank you, Pearson. I'm going to harp on that a little bit more because since I'm kind of more recently removed from college, I wish I had an awesome resume workshop like that. I applied to actually 12 different grad schools, I think, and that required me writing 12 different resumes and 12 different cover letters. So things like this that Pearson is very talented at, definitely utilize that resource whenever you can. Some feedback I had for the very brief Robert's Rules of Refresher that I gave earlier. I did not hear emotion once. I heard I moved every time. So awesome job to you guys for taking that feedback and immediately applying it. Freshman committee gave their last name and title, which immediately means that they took that information and they learned very quickly. So good job to them. And thank you guys for being here. What else? Senator O'Brien and Senator Locke, thank you for approaching the microphone and giving names and titles even during feedback. I know in previous meetings it was kind of typical to just give that clear receipt, but you guys took the initiative and you took that information and you approached the microphone and used our virtuals for that feedback, so thank you to both of y'all. Also, you might have already noticed I've been crashing some of the Senate committee meetings, so I'm excited to kind of get to know you guys better and see what you guys are working on in those meetings rather than just hearing about them through exec or in the all Senate meeting. So if you guys ever need anything, please let me know throughout the week. I'm going to be in office a little bit more rather than just being on Zoom, so anytime I can help you, please let me know. That's it. Thank you.
Just one more quick thing. I think I messed up. I thought Brooke had sent the apparel link to the Senate listserv. So if y'all were confused about where to find the link, I'll make sure that I send it out in the materials. Because I think last week when I sent out the materials, I just said make sure you fill it out without sending the actual link. So if that was a little bit of confusion, I'll make sure that y'all have the physical link. Anybody else have anything? Last remarks?
Callahan, Coach Sam, I wanted to ask if we were going to be dressing up at the next Senate meeting, because I'm ready.
Thank you for reminding me. This is your job, Senator Sullivan. But we do, I do want to encourage each committee to dress up. So I told the freshmen earlier that they'll be with their freshman committee dressing up, but the SGA exec team will be dressing up, and so I'm putting it on y'all to also dress up. Andrew, you got your own costume, buddy. So I'm looking forward to it. It will not be, I guess it'll be next week, yeah. So I know that's a little bit short notice, but that's the last Monday before Halloween because Halloween's on Saturday the 31st. So next week, be sure to show up in your Halloween costumes. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.